start today by thanking uh, if this kind of thing as we get to them. A team 5 Americans, what I was part of, 5 at a time. 5 at a time. The guy on the far right, that's Craig. He's really get into it over there. At one of two-day conference throughout the 4 of them throughout the 2 weeks I was there. Basically, it would be full of pastors' wives, and other church groups. Basically, just be telling them how to spread the word. This numbers I can pull up for. This one is "They'll Come to New," which is one guy would start and he would go grab someone from the congregation. They would come up there, take them to Jerusalem, which is somewhere around the coast. They would both go out and grab someone, take them up here, or eventually the whole congregation. So throughout the evangelism conferences, throughout the entire 4-week period, there were 9 of them with 1,176 combined attendees. That, counting all the other events we did, came up to 909 total professions of faith. That's only counting adults. Children we don't count. We have several that did definitely respond to the word in some way. This still just amazes me. I don't know how they do it. He's just carrying a generator on his head. And he has a hand up there, but a lot of the times, we'll see with like lighter stuff, they'll just be casually walking around with it on there. No hand up there anyway. There's just pretty sunset. Have a lot of those. So this was the other side of the Malawi Lake, which that was the part that I did not go to, but wanted to include one anyway. That is even poorer than the main continent. This was one of their churches, I think. That's just a. This was also on the other side of the lake. That's Craig meeting with one of the village chiefs who is Muslim. And by the end of their little trip to the other side of the lake, he was definitely leaning. He hadn't made a definitive decision, but he was definitely leaning towards Christianity. Yeah. And as a chief, he has a lot of influence. This was just me preaching with one of our translators. So it would start off with both. We would do a couple sermons, and then they would split off. The men would stay inside. The women would go to either a nearby building or under a tree. The women in our group would go give women's conferences for like 4 sermons, and then we'd come back together for the. This was their kitchen. They're making what is called sema, which is completely tasteless, about the consistency of mashed potatoes. And they normally do not have silverware there. They will just pick it up, just mash it into a ball, and just eat. Yeah. This is the women's. This was a Jesus film. I'll get that. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, a film about Jesus' life. It's the single most translated movie in the world. We would just set up there. We would pause it right as Jesus is going up on the cross, and then whoever is leading that will go out and open up the invitation, make it personal, but then we'll hand it over to our translators to actually give the invitation. That way nothing gets lost. This was something we did at the end of every conference. We would give all of the pastors' wives Chichewan Bibles. Chichewan is the language they speak over there. Most of them do not have Bibles, and if they do, they are in English. The pastors, that is. Very rare to find a Chichewan Bible. We did have some attendees, or maybe didn't quite understand everything. This is just another setup of the Jesus film. Really just a small little sheet and a projector. Yeah, generator. Pretty much all the electric stuff. This is the other thing we did at the end of our conferences. We would give out these certificates to all the pastors. Craig says that he's been to several pastors' houses, and this is like the only thing they have on their wall, just these certificates. That's how big of a deal this is to them. They will sometimes travel for days on foot to get to one of these conferences through various weathers. We were there during the rainy season. Another image of preaching. This is just what the view looks like over one of the bigger cities. One thing, this is my second time going, and I still just can't get used to the mountains. Beautiful. This was at one of the Sunday services that I preached at. You recognize that tune? That's Rock of Ages. You go back to that one. So it's pretty nice in this video outside. It started downpouring right about as I started preaching. And there's a little bit of a walk to get to the road. What we do for Sundays is we would just go to several different churches and drop someone off. It was me and one of the ladies who was in Sunday school. And the entire path of the road just like completely washed out. So our bus couldn't get to us. So one of the, I think it was the pastor of the church, he actually volunteered to drive us down to one of the other churches where Craig was preaching, where the bus was meeting up with us. Very nice people. This was at that church. Craig said it started raining just about as he started preaching. Big open building, metal roof. You couldn't be heard in there, so they pretty much did a like hour and a half worship service pretty much the entire time. They have multiple choirs, the bigger churches, and they will do 2 or 3 songs apiece. This is just one of the shops along the road. I saw some pretty funny shop signs. My favorite one for a while was Blessed Butchery. So it was beat out the last day on the way to the airport. We saw 2 missed calls bar. The little red booth, if you go back to that. That Airtel, that's basically their phone service. They would have to actually go to these stations and buy some there. The first time I heard one of the ladies on our team say, "Hey, I'm going to go buy some air. Does anyone want to go with me?" I was kind of confused. You can go back. This is, I think they said that all the color coordinated suits they wore was like their tribe or something. Yeah, this was the way it was me to do Sunday school at that church I went to. We were very much celebrities there. I had everyone in that church. They all wanted to come and shake my hand. One lady handed me her baby. This was the average breakfast. Usually eggs, sausage, bread, some kind of greens. That was breakfast. You can go ahead and skip. this was the weather up there. We were doing a Jesus film, and I could not pay attention to the film whatsoever, just because. Yeah, that's not the Jesus film itself. That's a testing video we were playing to more to attract attention. It's a common music video over there. Yeah, for the films, we would normally just set that up, and it'll be at the church that we just preached at that morning. So those people already know to come, and then other people will just see. Most of them never seen a movie before. They'll be kind of curious, hey, what's this? And as the day goes on, they don't do produce like we do over here. The picture doesn't do them justice. They're huge, and they say they are just as good. They say they are just as good as the cucumbers we have over here. They aren't like overly tart or something. This was the church I preached at for the second Sunday we were there. If any of y'all can't tell, because Mom felt the need when she posted us on Facebook to say, "I'm that one up there." I know I'm really blend in pretty well. But yeah. At this church, so after I was done preaching, the preacher came up. He asked me how old I was. I said 20. Called out like a 20-year-old girl and a 19-year-old guy, and basically said, "Now, why aren't you all doing as good as he is?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't want that." I went and apologized to them both later. The only reason I have this, a bumpy road sign. There is exactly one major north-south highway in Malawi, and about half of it was under construction while we were there. That means bumpy road. That's just another the land. These are just some snacks that we had up there. 2 out of 3 of these, very good. Third one was all right. You'll notice that everything on those ways, most of the signs throughout there is in English, though the common language is Chichewan. I guess they know people that speak English are generally more wealthy, so everything's like mostly tailored to them. Stuff behind. Oh, right. So this was in my one of my hotel rooms. The net around it, that is a mosquito net. They say the most dangerous animal in Malawi is the mosquito. I was taking malaria pills throughout the whole time, but I was really ate up so much. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Throughout the hotels, we're lucky for all of the following. There were no air conditioning. We'd be lucky to have a fan, have good internet connection, comfy bed, constant electricity, and hot water. I'd be lucky to get any one of those, especially a combination. Basically, just take like the worst hotel here, and that'd be like one of the higher end ones. This was just one of the service times for one of the churches. So like worship Sunday, service Sunday is 8:30 to 12:30 p.m. to 4:30. They said this Sadi Wyoming. I think that's their version, just like Wednesday night youth, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And intercession, I don't remember what intercession is. 4 to 5. Get an idea of how they treat that over there. Yeah, and like half of it is worship. No, so their worship service is 8:30 to 12, and then they have youth service 2:30 to 4:30. This is chombo. That is an entire fish. Yeah, it's very good, but all the bones are still in there, so it's very hard to eat. Not this one, but some of them, some different places that will have the eyeballs included. Yeah. No fork. Fork. The Malawians, we had some silverware that one of the guys brought with us. He said he walked into Brahms and said, "Hey, can y'all spare us a few forks? I hope for maybe one for each team." He gave Mike just a whole package. So yeah, this is a beef pie, very good. Not a Dorito. So I think so. Well, we have goats at home, so I just told everyone, hey, if they serve us goat, just tell me it's beef. So this was near the beginning of our trip. We did some door-to-door evangelism, which we would just go around a village, telling everyone about Jesus, and then inviting them to a short service afterward. I talked to. This was heading. The buses there. Our driver, Augustine, great driver over there. He get this bus into places I could not get my pickup. However, I am certain he would have been arrested within 5 seconds of driving on American. They don't abide by the same road rules. This is a fabric store, like where I bought this. I got this shirt right here, the fabric for a friend, and it cost me Zambia, like 150 Zambian kwacha, which translates to a little over $5. Yeah. One of the ladies on my team was able to find someone to make. This was at one of the conferences. We would provide them food, and they would serve lunch. Like I said, we have the sema up there. I just have some sauce and seasoning, some kind of green. That was the usual meal over there. If not for sema, they will have either rice or some version of fries that's made with a different potato. Had a little bit of help setting up for the. They were very excited to see it. Never told you the numbers for the other. We had 11 Jesus films with 1,985 attendees. Spoke at 13 churches with 1,560 attendees. 1,195 attendees at just various other open air events. That's all of that. This was all, I think, at that second church. You recognize this tune, I'm sure. I'll play that again. Oh, how I love Jesus. Play that again. This was at other me preaching. Probably the nice. Yeah, that's fine. The biggest crowd that I spoke to this trip or period. Probably that one right there. Did we show the video at the very beginning of the kids singing? Next one. Yeah, I think. Jesus is the man of the cross and how he died and came back to life. In the back here, we're getting into it. That kid's holding it tight. Yeah, while they were setting up for the Jesus film, we were just painting the kid. Hard to say. It was that pretty much that whole building filled. Yeah, they had doors, no air conditioning. Most of them did. Some of the so it's not that hot compared to like our summer. Had a lack of air conditioning, feel hotter. Yeah, high humidity. Most of the time, our water, if we're out at one of these conferences, we have cold water. The water over there isn't safe to drink unless it's just straight from a bottle for us. Yeah, no. Yeah. Now we move on to the safari portion. It has a very blurry picture. Not me either. Actually, those are not leaves, birds. Yeah. No, they're smaller than that. I don't remember what they. Maybe. Called a water buck, largest type animal. These are vegetarian. They're kind of similar to deer. Oh, you mean the Malawians? So this was one of the wildlife reserves. All of these were protected. I didn't see anyone eating giraffe or anywhere happen. Wasn't an option at any of the restaurants I went. Next one, we weren't even in the safari yet. We were still just at the camps.
Hi. Yeah, look at there.
We're just getting ready to leave to the safari. Younger elephants, not babies. But
that was the annoying.
We did both night and morning. Have some kitty cats here. This video is not zoomed in. I want to clarify that. No, we're just in like a little Jeep thing. Well, they see the whole Jeep that we're in as just one being. They don't recognize like people in the Jeep. And that's big enough, they'll know not to attack that. If we were on foot, would have been a different story. But there were times that if I wanted to use an arm, I could have reached out and pet one. Said there were 17 tried. No. Drivers knew it. There was one point, we actually followed this group for a little bit, and they went on a zebra hunt. So we got tagged along. We turned off the lights because the lions have better night vision, so I'd be giving the zebra advantage if we have the lights on. And then we hear running. Turn the lights on, there's a zebra. I swear it's heading straight towards me with a lion right behind it. They veer at like the last second. Shepherd.
Pretty good.
Or she has kittens. Heading back to the kitten right now, the driver said. What? Yeah, she's heading back to it. This is also on the way to safari with just a few monkeys. Just a few. Some of them are carrying their babies like either on their back or their babies are clutching onto their
Right now, baby. Can you see the baby underneath that one?
I don't think I have it in the slideshow, but there was one monkey, or I have a picture of one like sitting like on the porch to one of the cabins that we were staying at.
That's a young one with the baby.
Yeah, they're somewhat of pests. This safari was actually in Zambia. We did one Sunday and conference.
The trees.
That is a baby. Fun fact, a herd of zebras is called a dazzle. Dazzle. D-A-Z-Z-L-E. I can't remember. Monkey's point in the background. Stop to take her.
That's going to the video.
That's the. Yeah, look at that. Probably the Jesus. About the conferences. I don't think I have a video of it. One neat little. The first day, we would ask everyone for some passage from the Bible. We would give it to 3 different people in our group. Overnight, they would all prepare a short message without talking to each other about that passage. Then they would all, next day, they'd all give a message about that passage, the other 2 not being able to hear them until they're done. Call that styles, just helping to show like everyone has their own. The money over there, it's called kwacha. Not bring any. $1 is about 18 kwacha. A little bit inflated over there. In Zambia, they also have kwacha, but it's a lot less. Like I said, the 100 fabric was over $5. Still more, but not near. Well, that's a good question. I felt like I was having some calling for several years, but I couldn't figure out what it was. It was actually at Falls Creek one night that I finally realized. And once I realized it, just Falls Creek is a. Craig's been doing revivals at our church as long as I can remember. most natural pathway to it. Yes. Around the same time, don't know the exact date. Hello, how are you is Wanji. I do not know goodbye. Thank you, Momo. White person is a Zungu. Heard that one quite a bit. That might be. Yeah. No Chichewa. Thank you all again for helping me get to here. Like I said, y'all were just as much part of the trip really going over there.
You just